All right, so I'll show you black box here. Yes, like I was saying when we first jumped in here, there's no secret numbers to put in here. It's just kind of throw some in there. I'll give a little bit of reasoning why I could kind of choose the numbers that I choose, but just kind of throw them in there, get it to populate a list of products, and then identify some niche products in there, go on to Amazon and look at those, and then from there attack the listing, which I'll show you that. Because honestly, the attack the listing method is really the secret sauce, I think, to finding good products. If you can learn how to go through that and just do your research that way, like you'll always end up finding something. It might take a while, but you'll find something.
Yeah.
So monthly revenue, I don't know, let's say it's making at least 6,000 something. And then I like to type in random numbers. So like I just did 6231 instead of typing 6,000, because I imagine most people that come in here type a flat 6,000 or something like that. And everybody that comes in here and is typing the same flat numbers are getting the same results. So I want my results to be hopefully a little different than what everyone else might be getting. So I just type, if I'm kind of thinking for monthly revenue, the low, I want it to be 6,000. I'll just type in some random numbers instead of flat 6,000. So 6231. Max, like maybe you want to leave that open. Let's throw in, I don't know, like 45, something like that. But again, these aren't magic numbers here. You just kind of throw in ranges and then get it to populate a list for you. So many people think like if you just tell me the magic numbers to put in here, then I can, and it's just, that doesn't work that way. So I like to make it crystal clear. Price. So this one I do have some real good reasoning behind. At least for the minimum, well, and the maximum. But a minimum, you just want to think about making a decent profit margin. And so if you are looking at products that people are selling for like $3.99, man, you're going to have a really hard time making good profit margins out of a $4 product. Because after all your costs and fees, maybe you're making like 50 cents a dollar off of that. And so to make like 10,000 a month, you'd have to, so it's just like a minimum. So a minimum price, the most minimum price I've ever sold at and probably would ever sell at is $8.99. And even that was like a little bit low, but there was so much volume with it that it made sense. Like it was several thousands of units a month.
Yeah.
So that made complete sense. So I'll kind of use like maybe a 7. I don't know. That's still pretty low. I'd even go 9, but here, let's just go low for just say 70, 88. And then max, maybe you want to leave it open. Maybe you don't. I usually try and cap it somewhere around like 40 to 50, maybe even a little bit lower. But sometimes it's good to look higher because there are plenty of products with higher price points that do amazing. The only thing that happens at that point is it's likely that if the product's being sold at a higher price, it's a higher cost per unit to buy that from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And so you need more upfront capital. But if you don't, so if you're someone who really has like, tens of thousands to invest into a product to get it going, then leave this a lot higher. But if you're someone who's more in the like few thousand or so range, then I'd say you're probably going to be looking for products within like under 50, under $40, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Review count. I like there to be at least a couple reviews. Not that there has to be, but it just shows that it's at least in most cases, it shows that it's a valid product. And then max, I don't know, I'll say like 74. And again, you could shoot that down. Like I'd come in here and play around. For this one, I'd do 74 and look at some stuff, but then maybe I want to change it to 20 and see what comes up, play with it. But my thought process behind this is the way I look at reviews is like when I launch the product, how quickly am I going to be able to get how many reviews am I going to be able to get on my product within the first week, within the first month? It's like, is that 5 reviews? Is that 50 reviews? Is that 500 reviews? because that makes a really big difference. So like some Amazon sellers are capable of launching a product and getting hundreds of reviews on it within the first couple weeks, within the first month.
Yeah.
And so then they can look at competing with other sellers that already have, you know, a couple hundred reviews on their products, because they can get to that level very quickly.
Yeah. That's another question I had. And kind of like, what is the process for getting more reviews? Like, I've heard about putting inserts into your packaging, like with cards, asking for reviews. Like, what is your process to ensure that you get a lot of reviews right from the start?
So this is, I'll give you my best strategy, and then if we want to talk about maybe some different kind of approaches, we can. But this is what I go for. If you find a product that has really high demand and low competition, you will start to get sales. And usually what I do to get the first however many I can on, which it's kind of fluctuated at times throughout the years, but you know, even just getting one or two, just getting like a friend, or, you know, you got to kind of be a little bit careful with that. Like, you can't really just get your mom, especially if you're on her account or whatever, to like leave you got to make sure it's like separate account.
Distant. Yeah.
But get, you know, a handful of, if you can get 10, 20, however many you can get just out of like your circle, is great right at the start. So for me, right when I launch, within like, as soon as Amazon will let the product be purchased, I've got a group of people or whatever that I'm like, hey, go buy, leave a review. And that's, you know, I'll usually try and get at least 5 like solid 5-star reviews, but even if it's just 1 or 2, that's a huge help. And then, you know, at times I've done it where I've had like kind of a stronger network, so to speak, built for when I launched, so I could get more reviews. But it got, you know, Amazon got tighter about how they're tracking and allowing reviews to happen, so I scaled that back. So more recently, it's more of a, when I launch, I'm looking at getting on. Like, I try and play it safe, and, you know, I'd rather avoid issues with getting my account disabled or whatever. So I try and play it safe, and so right when I launch, I'll try and get 3, 4, 5. If I feel safe about going up to like 10 or more than that, then, but probably I'm really just trying to maybe get like a handful on there, just so it shows that, you know, some people have actually bought and reviewed it.
Yeah. So as many as you can from like your inner circle without sketching out Amazon, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, exactly that. But the main thing that I rely on is my product research and finding high demand and low competition. Because what happens is, if you launch a product that has that high demand, people are going to find your product listing, and it is going to sell. And then it's going to get reviews, because no matter what, even if you do nothing, a certain percentage of the people that buy will leave a review. It's small, but it will happen. So if you did your research right and you found high demand and low enough competition that you can start to capture some of that demand, you'll just start to capture it, and from that will come reviews. And especially if you were able to get a handful on there yourself, and you start running some PPC to increase even more sales volume, like, that will get the ball rolling. And so that's really what I do, is I try and really bring it back to product research, because then you don't have to play such a game of hacking reviews. You can kind of just let that happen more organically. But
that makes sense.
But I still do, and it still does make a lot of sense to really get as many as you can on there through whatever means, as long as you're not risking, you know, getting your account shut down and stuff. And Amazon has become way stricter about that. So I really recommend, like, I basically don't recommend any sort of extra ways to get reviews other than just all the like actual ways that Amazon allows you to do it. With the exception of what I just said, like, find a few initially to get on there. But
no, just for the start. And even myself, I noticed, like, from having 0 views to having 2, like, even that was like a noticeable difference. Right away. Like, so.
Yep. Yeah. So so whatever you need to do to get like a couple to a handful or so on there right away, make sure and get that done. Don't be too sketchy that you get shut down or whatever, but definitely get that done. And then from there, you should be relying mainly on your product research of having found high demand to start to get you sales and reviews. And then you've got 2 pieces built in that will kind of increase the speed at which you get reviews, which is inserts, like you mentioned, just a simple something inside. Yeah.
Can the suppliers do that at Alibaba? Like when they're packaging the product, they can. Okay.
Yep. And that's pretty simple. It shouldn't. Maybe they'll try and charge you. Some won't, but it shouldn't. If you go like crazy custom, then maybe it's really an extra expense. But it really shouldn't cost you that much extra to put an insert in there.
Okay. Cool.
And if you want to, and one thing I like to do is I'll order the top seller, whatever product I'm looking at. Once I've got to the point of like I'm pretty serious about it, I'll order the top seller's products and analyze their packaging and their inserts and see what they're doing, because it's really likely, and this is pretty much always the case. Like if you just go to the top sellers with the most reviews and order their package and look at their inserts, you'll notice that, oh yeah, that like their inserts are definitely getting them a lot of these reviews. But also be careful, because some of those best sellers are doing completely sketchy things with their inserts where they're like, you just like
leave a 5-star review and we'll give you half off the next one. Yeah.
Exactly. Or we'll send, like you got to be careful, but there's a lot of people getting away with it. So like ultimately up to you, but I would kind of lean more towards just being careful about it. And again, relying on the high demand to start to really get things going. So inserts. And then the only other thing is, and this is a really good one, but make sure you have, I guess there's kind of two things built in here, but email campaigns. So you can send out emails to request reviews after they've purchased your product. And then there's also you can also go into the order and click request review.
I've done that. Yeah.
And there's some tools where you can automate that. So they'll just basically, the tool will just automatically click all those for you and send out requests that way. Yeah, but I did want, so that's pretty much how I fill this out. And I just click search. We'll jump over to do the tactile listing stuff right now. Cool. The only other thing is categories. I like to, just because you don't want to, are you aware of like what are good categories, bad categories, or do you want me to touch on that?
Yeah, no, I have a general idea, but yeah, if you could go through it really quickly.
Yeah, so it's just like, so the good ones,
home and kitchen, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So like toys and games, there can be stuff in there, but it also can get like pretty crazy. Tools and home improvement can be good. Sports and outdoors can be good. There can be stuff in pet supplies, but it can also be a little crazy. Patio, lawn, and gardening could be good. Office products can, maybe. Stay away. Kitchen and dining's good. Maybe industrial and scientific. Home and kitchen's good. Health and household, maybe. There's kind of like a mixture in there of like the household stuff could be good, but the health stuff, now you're into like stuff that's going in people's bodies, and there's different rules and different like manufacturing.
Yeah.
Handmade products, no, because you're just not going to find those on Alibaba. Grocery, no. Electronics, and computers and accessories. So some people will say to stay away from those because, and this is true, because they can, basically you can get more negative reviews from electronics because they more break.
There's a lot that could go wrong.
Yep. But I personally have sold smaller kind of, there's smaller like adapter electronics, and those have done extremely well for me. So up to you how, if you want to, but like I said, it is a thing where you can get negative reviews easier. But like you can also avoid that by finding very high quality products. So anyways, thoughts on that? Cell phones, accessories, kind of the same thing there. Same thing with camera and photo. Beauty and personal care is kind of the same as health and household. There can be some good stuff in there, but there can also be just like tons of stuff you want to avoid. Babies kind of like, it's kind of like a personal care, health kind of category, kind of some of that stuff in there. Then you also kind of find some like legit, that could be really good baby products for you to sell. So that's kind of like a maybe category. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see, I'll just select, let's do patio, lawn, and garden. I'll redo this search. Okay, so basically what I do is I'm just like quick scanning, and I want to find something that makes me go like, what the heck is that? If it's something I basically already know, I just want it to be so weird and random and niche that like I'm just like, what is that? So this kind of looks like that to me, but then I read it, I'm just like, it's just kind of a chair cover. So to me that's like a maybe, but I'll probably just keep scrolling, see if I can find something more niche. Water resistant pyramid torch patio heater cover. So like that one might be worth looking into. I'm gonna, like, maybe, I don't know, like I might open that one up in a new tab, but let's see if we can find a better one real fast. Waterproof plastic black plant tags. maybe. So that looks like seasonal to me, like a Thanksgiving thing. So I'm gonna skip that. Which you can do. See, like people do see, like there are people that sell seasonal and do succeed with seasonal. I personally would just rather have something that's going to be more consistent month after month, like all 12 months of the year. So lots of covers. So here's like an heavy duty plant cover. So maybe we want to go look at plant covers for a second. But yeah, like I'll literally just kind of do exactly what I'm doing here. Mid-century brass gold planter. So that one kind of like a, yeah, see, that's a large standard size. So I'd actually skip over that because I want to look for smaller, lighter, less expensive to ship products.
So small standard size or what you're typically looking for?
Yeah, yeah. But like, so this one right here says large standard size, but those, I doubt that's the case. So I wouldn't necessarily always go by that, but more go off of the image and what you can kind of like just logically come up with what the size of that product, or you could actually look at its dimensions right here too. But
yeah.
Air plant terrarium kit, maybe. A dabbing garden dragon. I don't know. Maybe that's so weird to me. Maybe.
Yeah.
So let's see. We'll click it. It'll open it up. And so the first thing, yeah. So really, the first thing that I'll do right here is basically I try and find the broadest keyword and go search out that keyword because I don't really want to analyze just this seller. I want to look at the whole product market and be able to pull up the X-ray box and look at it as a whole. So I first want to find, which I think it would be dabbing garden dragon, or maybe even just dabbing dragon, but let's just try this. So I'll just copy that, paste it, and then I make sure and switch this to all. So I'm searching across all of Amazon and just not in one specific category. Yeah, so this is like I guess it's a thing. Weird, but all right, so it's, yeah, so I'll pull up X-ray and we'll just see what's going on here real fast. And then
would a product like this be, would a hesitation of yours be how it's hard to differentiate and hard for you to add like an additional utility or value to it? Like, would that be a hesitation of yours?
So, and if you don't understand this clearly, please make me re-explain it because I want this to sit very clear because it's maybe easy for people to confuse it, but differentiating, yes, is absolutely a good thing. Do you have to differentiate? No, but that hinges on demand. So if you've done really good research where you found high demand and low competition, you can launch the exact same thing and it will sell because you found high demand, low competition. That's just the case. There's enough room in there for the exact same thing to be launched, just with different brand name, little bit different description, different images, but the exact same thing. And because there's enough demand there, it'll find you and it'll start to buy you. And then if it gets reviews and you run good PPC and like your images and all that's good, and you've got like, you're getting reviews, then it'll just continue to grow. And I have personally launched, I have launched most of my products that way, where I just find high demand, low competition, find it straight off Alibaba. All I do is find a high quality one off of Alibaba and just launch exactly that. Sometimes I don't even print my brand name on it. I'll just put that in there in the images just to get the ball rolling and get launched as quickly as possible. And sometimes down the road, like once I've got things going, then I'm like, okay, let's go to the manufacturer. This is proven it's working. Let's make a couple tweaks and improve the product. But then other times I've never ever, it's just sold and done well. So with this one, so it really depends on.
Good to know.
Yeah, so but that really hinges on being able to really identify high demand and low
demand.
If you struggle with that, which a lot of people do, then I wouldn't necessarily be like, yeah, don't worry about differentiating, because if you are entering a little bit more competitive of a market, then yeah, you probably do need to differentiate a little bit somehow. So if
the sales are high and the reviews are low on average, then there's a good opportunity to still make money even if you don't really differentiate.
Correct. But then again, if you see a really clear, smart way to differentiate, then why not? You know, like if you can offer a better product at the right cost for you in an amount of time that works for you to launch the product, then yeah, absolutely do that. But the way my approach is kind of just like, if there's high enough demand, low competition, I know it's going to sell. So I'd rather just get that starting to go. And then if I need to or want to improve, differentiate, then I can do that in the next order or 2 or 3 orders down the line, something like that.
Yeah. Cool.
But I know, like, I personally know other sellers that would hate that I say that. And like, you've got to like figure out what it is beforehand, spend the money on that up front, and then sell it that way.
Yeah.
Which,
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that. So these ones, so 300 sales. So it looks like that's kind of, it's not giving us this data. So it looks like that's kind of the only one. And this is going to be something different. Yeah. So I'd like totally just pass on this product, but this is where I kind of start to do an attack the listing thing. I would look at this guy and go, he's making 360 sales with 33 reviews. That's pretty good. So the way I look at that is I go, maybe this seller knows something. Like maybe basically what that says to me is maybe the seller has other products in his store that I can look at. So I click into you know how to go into their store?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll come into the store. Oh, this looks like a big store.
And you run X-ray on all their products and then look for good products within that?
Yeah. And in this case, this is a really big store. So you got to either click into some stuff or just go a different route. But so here, let's go back here. But if there was something interesting in that store to look at, I'd just chase that. But let's just pull up something else here. So let's go. Let's try this one. Air plant terrarium. And I'll just show you, I'll kind of show you and attack the listing on this one, I think, as long as there's enough demand. Because that's the main thing with attacking the listing. Really, the only thing I'm trying to do is just chase down demand. That's really what I'm trying to do. And so like when I saw that, dabbing dragon product wasn't really good, but I saw demand because there's the 300 sales for the 33 reviews. So even though I didn't see more demand in that product itself, I wanted to go see if that seller has other products with high demand and just trying to keep chasing demand that way.
Yeah.
So here, let's pull these up. Okay, so that's pretty good demand for the product. Reviews. So that's still too competitive to me, but not as competitive as what we were looking at.
Are you looking for ideally under like 100 to 50?
Yeah. So,
on average?
Yeah. So like when I launch, I feel pretty confident in being able to get, it depends on so I feel like I can get, I look for like best case scenario is like with 10, 20 or 30 reviews, like there's a lot of sales that are happening.
Yeah.
So like, if I want to see several sellers within like 10 to 30 reviews, that's like best case scenario, making a lot of sales. But I'll go up to like 70 or 80 and kind of like just analyze things and think to myself, like, all right, so I know I'm not going to get probably 70 or 80, in like my first month, but maybe it's worth it to 2 or 3 months down the road, get there and then make the money.
Yeah.
But some I look at and it's like, if I can see within like 10, 30 reviews, I can make a good amount of sales, that'll make me a good amount of profit. I try and launch that pretty much as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so reviews over here. Okay, so hundreds. Yeah, so this product's pretty competitive. But then, so here's one attack the listing method. So I go up to this one that has making the most amount of sales, and I look into it. And there's, I think, 3 places I attack the listing. So number 1's the shop, which I it seems that you're familiar with. If you want me to show you more with that, we can, but I think you know how to do that. It's just you go in there, run the X-ray on their shop. If there are any with high demand, low competition, look into those.
Got it.
The other place I attack is right here. So they're frequently bought together. So if we're looking at a product that makes a lot of sales every month, whatever products are frequently bought together with it also probably make a good amount of sales every month. So again, I'm just chasing demand. I only want to spend my time looking at products that have high demand. And then hopefully I find one with low competition.
Okay.
So the reason when we were looking at the X, was it over here? Yeah, so the reason in here I went up to this one is I'm chasing demand. So the one with the highest amount of sales, let's look into that one and use that one as the one we'll do attack the listing on. And so I'd look at their store. We talked about that. And then I come down here and look at these. So I'd just open this one up in a new tab, open this one up in a new tab, and look at what they are. So plant fertilizer. So the way I would look at this, like I wouldn't, because I like to keep, and you can, but I like to keep the products I launch very, very simple and easy. And this deals with liquid and some sort of fertilizer. Like that's just not going to be as straightforward as finding a piece of plastic product off of Alibaba. So like just off of that, I would skip this one. But if I were to, if it was a good one to continue to look into, I'd run X-ray on top of this and just see what it's doing sales wise. What's wrong one? What it's doing sales wise each month. But again, mainly what I want to do is analyze the product market, not just one seller of the product.
You type plant fertilizer into like your search box and then run X-ray on the product.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd look at this and go, okay, yeah, 2,000 sales. So yeah, that's definitely some demand. So at this point, I'd switch this to all, go air plant fertilizer, throw that in there, run X-ray on that one, see if anything good comes up.
Got it.
And then same thing with this one. And then you can also just like, now that we're onto this one, you could also deep dive into or attack this listing. You could look at this seller store. You can look at the frequently bought together on this one because it's also a high demand product. And these look kind of interesting to me because if these are little fake plastic ones, then I know that those would be on Alibaba. I'm pretty sure these are plastic. I'm not going to take the time to read through.
It's like a cycle that you can continue on and just keep looking at.
Just keep looking. So like if I click this one, my guess is it does fairly good demand. 4,950. So then I go look at that product market.
Got it.
And I could look into their store and I can look at the frequently bought together with this one. In this case, it's showing us two we've already looked at, so I wouldn't click into those. And then the last place I go to attack the listing. And this one takes like what I just showed you, you can really quickly, like once you kind of get the hang of it, you can just quickly jump through a bunch of products. And what's so efficient about it is you're not looking at a bunch of products that don't have high demand. Like if you're doing what I just showed you, you'll only be chasing products that do have demand. So you're really just making sure that they do and then checking for competition.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then the other place down here is so the people that leave reviews, you can click into their profiles and you can see all the other products that they've been reviewing. And that can sometimes be a really good way to find just other very niche products. In this case, this person's not showing any. So I'll go back. So click into Natalie. So here's some, so like she did this Flex Tough Contour. I don't know what those are, but like maybe you want to look into that one. Cheese knife, stainless steel set.
Why are you looking at other products that she's reviewed?
Just to see other random niche products. Like it's just another way to look at random products.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not necessarily because I know there's demand associated with these or anything like that. This last attack the listing method inside the reviews here is literally just to pull up basically a list of random products that maybe one of them is worth looking into.
Okay.
So like this one right here, a hemp grow mat. That sounds really interesting to me. So I just go. Whoops. Grow mat. So
do
like,
you avoid metal and like wood products, like products that are made of heavier material, just because of the more expensive shipping?
What was the start of that question? It cut out.
Like, do you ignore products that are made of like metal or like wood, like products that are heavier?
Sort of. Like if I'm looking at stuff and I see some and I see that they have high demand, then yeah, maybe I'll go look at them. But for the most part, I do try and stay focused on small, lightweight, just because once you go to the heavier stuff, I mean, especially shipping, I mean, and then especially on top of that, just like how volatile stuff is in the world right now. Like I just, and then also because if it's heavy, you most likely are gonna pay to ship it over sea and not through air, and
Yeah.
air is way faster and sea takes a lot longer. And so when you're trying to deal with like replenishing inventory and stuff, air shipping is just way easier to deal with than sea. And if you go to heavier
Right.
stuff, you're most likely shipping sea. So yeah, I do try and stay pretty focused on just small, lightweight, easy to ship. But if I see something that has like crazy data on it and it's heavy, just because it's heavy might not turn me away. Because if the data is looking amazing, then I'll keep looking at it. But I've yet to. The biggest product I've done so far is an umbrella, like
Mm.
a, I don't know if you can see that, but like
Yeah.
standard size, kind of standard size umbrella. The only last thing I'll say about that attack the listing is to just be patient, and it's literally a game of like I promise you that does work, and it's a great way to continue to find high demand products, but you have to be patient and just continue to go through it and through it and through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find them quick. Like I've done, like I had someone send me a product one time, just like a brother of mine who knows I sell on Amazon. Sometimes he sends me stuff and like, hey, maybe you want to look at this.
Yeah.
And so I just looked at that quick. It wasn't good, but I did my attack the listing method, and one product off of that, just one branch, found one and started selling that. So you can find them quick. Like that has happened to me, but I've also spent plenty of other times where it's just hour after hour after hour, and maybe don't find anything.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard to know
Yeah. No.
when you're gonna find the right one, but they are out there.